Hello there. My name is Chad. I've been drawing for a good 2 years, and I just wanted to make this video to talk about a few things that I learned throughout the way that maybe if I learned sooner, they would have made the process a little bit easier. So yeah, here are 7 things that I learned after drawing every day for 712 days. All right, cue in the intro. Is there going to be an intro in this video? I don't know if there's going to be an intro in this video. So the initial reason why I decided to document this journey is because I wanted to show people and myself that it is easy if you actually stick to it and stay consistent. But I ended up learning much more. So I'm gonna divide what I learned into 2 categories: the technical aspect of drawing and the more like mindset that I had to adapt in order to help me drawing. Another thing that I want to clarify is that for the most part of the 2 years, I have been drawing digitally with my graphics tablet and my stylus. So if you are using traditional media, or if you are using an iPad to create art, then just know that these tips are tailored for my experience, which is the tablets and the stylus. All right. Thing number 1, knowing how to use your stylus. Yes, how to use this thing. But what do you mean, Chad? You just pick up the stylus and draw. Well, yeah, that's what I've been doing for a very long time. But if you want your drawings to have more depth and pizzazz to them, you need to do a little bit more than that. You see, when you pick a traditional drawing medium like gouache and you pick that brush, it can be difficult to manipulate at first. Then you slowly or quickly start to realize that you have to master the tool, and eventually you start using it more than the traditional way of just laying the brush on the canvas and painting. For example, doing the little flick thing with the brush so it flakes and creates some splatters on the canvas, that type of stuff. Now, of course, you're not going to start physically making splatters or hit your drawing tablet with your stylus, right? But there is something that I, for some reason, didn't pay attention to, which is the stylus pressure sensitivity. And intentionally, you can use the pressure sensitivity to your advantage to create thin lines or thick lines specifically where you want to. And that's what's called line control. With line control, you can express things subtly, things that maybe you couldn't express using unified line weight. For example, if an object is heavy on the bottom and light at the top, then you would use thicker lines at the bottom and thinner lines above to emphasize the heaviness. Same with light direction. The side that is hit with light will have thinner lines and thicker lines for the parts in shadow. Or when you want to express depth, you draw things further away from us lighter than the things closer to us. Now, there are probably art styles that use unified line weight, but for my goal, which is doing more line work stuff, this is really important. Okay, thing number 2, learn how to observe. If there was nothing to observe, we would have nothing to draw. Almost every beginner would grab a reference, barely look at it, and then go straight to drawing and focusing on the details. I'm definitely guilty of that too. And maybe we do that because we see professional artists make drawing look so effortless and think, I want to be a professional, I can do that too. But these professionals probably have years of experience under their belt, and their eye is more trained to pick things your untrained eye isn't picking up yet. And what I mean by observing your reference is looking at the big shapes and trying to see the shapes within the shapes, as well as the relationships between them. Now, I would suggest, if you're a complete beginner, to start with primitive shapes like cylinders and boxy shapes. Just look around your house and try to draw these. And once you're comfortable with those, you can move on to more complex shapes. Just keep in mind that everything is made of basic shapes if you observe well enough. Okay, thing number 3, gesture drawing. Now, if you feel like you want to draw some bodies, I think gesture is very important. I remember starting with the bodies, and the first thing I did was drawing references as mannequins. Meaning that I look at a reference and transform the body in the biggest simplistic shapes it is made of: boxes. Now, this is a good exercise, don't get me wrong, I think it gets your eyes used to drawing boxes as well as drawing them in relationship to each other, but it was also a difficult one for me. And not only was it difficult, I also couldn't move past the mannequin look to make it look like a real human. And when I tried, they turned out very stiff most of the time. I found most progress, however, when I really looked into gesture drawing. Gesture drawing helps you translate a reference into a few free, smooth strokes that actually look like a figure of a person. They don't require any deep anatomy knowledge, and they are easy to build on to make a decent looking person. I would suggest you don't spend too much time on drawing a gesture. Try to limit yourself to like 5 minutes per drawing, or even better, do even more constraints. Line of Art is a good website that offers timed references where you start to draw, and when your timer runs out, it moves on to the next reference. It can be difficult, but it is a good way to get used to the figure. Thing number 4, let your software help you. Now, for some reason, I had this idea in mind that when I draw, I need to get it perfect on the first try. I need to make whatever I draw look amazing from the get-go. So I refused to get the help of my software to get my drawings better for a period of time. I used to think, like deep down, even though I know it's false, right, that tracing is cheating. I used to refuse to use the lasso tool in Photoshop to move certain lines, because why didn't I get it good from the first time? Then the more I drew and the more I saw even the most professional artists use references and use tricks in their software, I was like, yeah, yeah, maybe it's okay. So don't shy away from letting your drawing software help you. If you're struggling to draw a pose, pull up a 3D mannequin to help you. If your colors are a bit off, it's okay to use the hues and saturation adjustment layer. You know, use the liquify tool to fix some minor proportions problems. Don't let your ego stop you from getting better. Which actually, this takes me to my next point. Thing number 5, don't be too stubborn, humble yourself. Now, the next few advices are more of a mindset change than technical skills advice, which I think is as important, if not more. In the beginning, I was learning about portraits and gestures and all that jazz. And when I was drawing on stream, a chatter, he would try to give me some good, constructive criticism about what I was doing wrong. He was better than me at drawing, and he knew what he was talking about. I've seen his work. But me being the stubborn person I am, I'll be like, no, I think the way I'm doing it is also good. Watch. Then it actually turns out he was right all along, and I end up listening. There is nothing wrong with being a little stubborn, and to stand your ground in some situations, that's actually good. But know who you're being stubborn with and when to be stubborn. If someone is better than you at something and they are trying to mentor you, they give you genuine good advice, it's okay to humble yourself and listen. It will only help you get better. Okay, thing number 6, consistency and persistence. I have been drawing for 712 days by the time this video comes out, and I am truly grateful that I stuck around with it. Even on the days where I didn't feel like it, I still drew. But after 2 years, I learned that consistency paired with persistence is a much better combo than relying on consistency alone. Now, what I mean by that is I did show up consistently, but I didn't draw the same amount every day. Sometimes I drew for 30 minutes, sometimes I drew for an hour, sometimes I drew for 15 minutes. One time I drew for 8 hours. That was something. So I was showing up, but the session's length wasn't very consistent. So for example, I would try to learn how to draw, let's say an eye for example, right? But I'd only do it for 15 minutes a day. Now I am consistent there. But in 15 minutes, I would barely finish warming up and I'm already like 10 minutes in, as opposed to doing it for, let's say, an hour, which is enough time to warm up, practice, realize your mistakes and try to correct them. That's where persistence comes in. So show up every day if you can, absolutely, but also do it for enough time that lets you take in the information and actually learn. Now, side note, if you really feel like drawing for only 15 minutes or even 5 minutes, absolutely do it. It is better than not doing it. Sometimes I would be really going through it and just like not wanting to draw. At that point, it is not about drawing anymore. It is more about showing up, which is as important because it will help you keep that streak and come back stronger when you feel better. All right, our last thing number 7, open yourself to the world. The fact that I'm streaming my process of drawing on YouTube has helped me so much because potentially anyone can see what I do. So people will show up and give you advice. Some people will show up and ask for advice. Some people will show up and just like want to have some fun. I don't think I would have come this far if it wasn't for the fellas that I met along the way. Damn, that sounds so cheesy. But it is true. It is true. If you don't open yourself up as a beginner, you risk staying in your own bubble and maybe even cementing your bad drawing habits. On the other hand, if you don't open yourself as a good artist, then people wouldn't be able to see the amazing art that you make. Either way, if you open yourself up to the world, you're winning. Now, I do realize that a lot of artists can be shy and opening up can be difficult. I still think I am a bit more on the reserved side myself, but I like to think of it this way. When someone hands you like a present, quote unquote, it is up to you to accept it with love or to reject it and keep it to themselves. You have the choice of accepting genuine advice and compliments, as well as rejecting anything anyone says with bad intentions. Just keep that in mind. I just want to emphasize that this was my experience with drawing, and everyone is different, you know, different lives, different circumstances, different interests, and what worked for me might not necessarily work for you, which I think is pretty cool, because that allows you to acknowledge that you don't have to compare yourself to other artists, because you are unique, and that's where the beauty is. Thank you guys so much for watching this far. I really want to grow this channel and the community on Discord so I can make more videos like this. So it would be very helpful if you subscribe to the channel and join the Discord server in the link below. And yeah, have fun drawing. Bye bye. Bye bye now. Goodbye. See ya. Bye.